Hello everyone. Hi. Hello everybody. Hey love lovers, it's me Tahia, Synastry expert, and we are doing Synastry today. It has been a while since we got to do what we all about, which is Synastry, and we analyze what is happening in people's relationships, because we want to learn about all the aspects and the dealings of synastry in terms of astrology. And of course, as always, everything is alleged, whatever I'm gonna say here. And anyway, I don't have to say that much today because I will be focusing on just the standard synastry, meaning that I won't be looking at the future of what will be happening between Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau, the ex-Prime Minister of Canada. I find him very handsome, and Katy Perry has been, this is not her first time making it into this channel, because I recently made an analysis of her and her ex, as well as that mini documentary that I made about that, what was it called again? Blue Sky. No, is it Blue Sky? Blue something, whereby they had to go up to space for, a few minutes. Anyway, so I had done that pertaining to her name. So I know her chart, I've seen her chart, and regarding to this analysis, I actually have had it for a while, a few weeks now on my desk. So as many of analysis, I have so many analyses that are done and have been done. Some have been done for over a year, and of course I got intrigued into posting this one, because I saw something on X regarding Diplor or Diplor. I don't know how they say his name, Diplor. I think the musician DJ, and he said something very interesting, and a lot of people are saying that it was a joke, whereby he alleged that he dated Katy Perry as well as Justin Trudeau. So a lot of people are talking about that on X right now, and of course it is alleged. And so I was like, let me post this, because I would like to do a three-way analysis of Diplor, Katy Perry, and Justin Trudeau, to see the dynamics between the couple and Diplor himself, following up on his allegations, of course. Now, so today is going to be very academic, because this is just a standard synastry. So we're just going to go into the academic side of it, whereby we look at the theory when it comes to synastry. And we must remember that every time I use charts, I am using the sidereal, and therefore my ascendants may differ about 23 degrees from your chart. So, or if you use another system, maybe a different degree, I don't know. But Katy Perry born on the 25th of October 1984 at 2 minutes to 8 in Santa Barbara, and of course today she is 40 years old and 11 months. Now Justin Trudeau, he was born on the 25th of December in 1971 at 27 past 9, so at night, 2100 hours 27 minutes in Canada. Of course, the Prime Minister of Canada, right? That makes him a Leo ascendant, and for Katy Perry, she is a Libra ascendant. Now, looking at the theory, definitely now when we're looking at the ascendants Libra and Leo, this is a well gelling combination, because we are talking about a fire sign and an air sign, right? So air and fire, they go very, very well together. By the way, they do look absolutely gorgeous together. I don't understand why a lot of people are hating on them, but I will explain it when I come back with their composite chart. But for now, for me, they just look absolutely gorgeous together. They are complementing each other. I like their height. They just look good. They just look very good together. And of course, you can sense that element dynamic of air and fire. I blow and you blow up. So that is what is happening here. Now, looking at the aspects, because my very first thing that I want to look at when I look at Synastry is Venus. What is happening? Because we must remember that Venus is the goddess of love, relationships, unionship, marriage. And for us to be in harmonious relationships, we must have a supportive Venus, because if Venus is not so strong, their sex could be very great, good, mind blowing, mind boggling, but if the love is not here, if the affection is not here, we can communicate all we want, we can play all we want, but we will always feel that sense of feeling empty, feeling like something is missing in this relationship. And this is what we don't want to experience when we are wanting to feel loved and to love. And of course, it depends on what type of a relationship this is, because most of the time, people get into relationships with an intention of maybe just to spend some time together, nothing serious, or to benefit each other in certain ways, whereby maybe a guy does something for a girl does something for a guy, and some contracts and like working together but appearing as a couple. And this is mostly in terms of the PR relationship. So there are different dynamics of relationships or relating to people, and of course, it's not understood by everyone, or not accepted by everyone, sorry. But these things exist, and of course the charts always tell us what type of a relationship we are getting. So with that said, I would like to look at what is happening between their Venuses. Look at that beautiful sextile. That is nice. That is very lovely, because when we're talking about a semi-sextile, we are actually talking about friendship here. It means that we see each other as, my backbone. When I want to talk about something, I call you. When I want to gossip, I call you. When I want to talk about my dreams, my goals, my visions, and what I want to do, what I would like to achieve, I call you, right? So this is what semi-sextile is. It's very harmonic, it's very supportive, and but most times it also gives a sense of responsibility, whereby one partner becomes responsible for the other one. By the way, thank you for the subscriptions, for those who are joining the channel. Thank you for that. The new people that are here, do subscribe. I'll keep on subscribing. I don't say this often, because it's not important more than what you're learning or what you're getting, the information, but I appreciate it. Subscribe, like, and if you do comment, do expect that I will respond. I think a lot of people maybe think, not a lot of people, but some people think that I won't respond. But I'm a Gemini ascendant, so communication is what I'm interested in. So if you have comment, I will respond. This is not a big channel whereby I have lots of comments and I can't respond. No, I will respond. So yeah, and what else? And of course, book on my website, and for your analysis as well. Now going back to that semi-sextile, because as I said today, we are more about theory and academic breakdown of this synastry. Now, Katy Perry has her own Venus in in terms of placements in the second house, right? And of course, when we get Venus in the second house, this is, come on, the original house of Venus, right? Where money is, where family is, where good food is, and having Venus here, regardless of the sign, it becomes a very good indication of how you will you will grow up, but also the values around love, because keeping it obviously to the context of the channel, when we talk about Venus, we are talking about love. So it means that you would have looked at your family members, how are they loving, and you would have learned one thing or two about what love is. You would have been motivated by what you've seen in your household. What is love? How is my mommy loving my dad, or my dad loving my mommy? How is my grandma being loved by my grandfather, right? So for her, having that Venus in the second house, this is where she initially got the idea of what a relationship is, what to expect from a relationship, how a relationship should be. So she would have had that view about these affairs and relationships and all of these things, right? And because her Venus is actually conjunct with her fortune, right? Yeah, fortune. When we talk about fortune, guys, we are talking about wealth. We are talking about your skills, like what you can do that can make you money, the skills that can help you build towards your dreams and goals, and achieving your aspirations. That is what fortune is all about. So it's not just the coins or the papers, it is also about their skill set. So meaning that when she is in a relationship with this fortune here, she is able to take all of that relationship and its traits and what it gives to build up something towards herself, towards her wealth, towards her values, her money. So for her, she always gets, or is lucky to get, a partner that will encourage her somehow, some way, to work towards increasing her wealth, her net value. And of course, it's not alone, it is also with Ketu. And it circles back to what I've said before, that when you see Ketu in the second house, some people who don't necessarily have all the knowledge about Ketu will then tell you that you would be poor, you would struggle to have money because Ketu is in the second house. But I've seen this when it comes to money and everything relating to family. In this case of this Ketu being conjunct with Venus, it will bring you money. It will bring you lots of money. But as I said, of course, because Ketu is a separator, it means that there would be periods whereby your bank account, kind of goes down, and then it goes up again, and it goes down, and it goes up again. But you won't be like denied from having wealth and access, because as I said, wherever your Ketu is, this is where you actually going to be given those things, so that you experience some sort of losing them again. Now, when it comes to the billionaires that we have, we do have billionaires who have Ketu in their second house, and of course some have been so close to being bankrupt before, and some they give their money away to charities, because that's what Ketu is all about, separating. But it doesn't mean that they are poor, they become poor because they have a Ketu in the second house. So we need to always be mindful about these placements of Ketu and not assume that it will deny people of having that thing, or that it requires people to reject that. No, you will still have money, you will still have access to money, but it is all about having it without making it your God. That's all it is all about. You don't make it your God, and then as a result, if you do start to feel like you are, like that thing is your God, then this is when the Ketu effect comes in, and then you feel like, oh my gosh, okay, now I'm gonna lose it, and then get it back again, because it's all about the lessons. So it actually doesn't end there, because she also have Uranus also in that second house. So we can already see what was going on with her family life around the time when she was born, and but that's not my interest right now. I just want to focus on the relation now part. And Uranus, of course, it also brings some turbulences in terms of relationships and partnerships, whereby it could be just sudden arguments coming up, particularly because this is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about those things that just burst out because they would have been kept for a long time, and then they just go boom, right? Because Scorpio is all about everything that's going on underneath the ground and underneath the surface. And of course, most times we know that when there's a whole lot of agitation, then there's an eruption of whatever is kept within, right? Like we see volcanoes, we see earthquakes, or all these things coming out because of the irritation and the agitation of what is actually going on underneath the surface. So with that Uranus here, definitely, and for her it would be mostly spoken words, spoken arguments, and sometimes these things would just be coming out of nowhere. And knowing that there's the Ketu here, we can see that when she speaks with a bit of diplomacy, yes, because of that Venus. However, she speaks the truth, she speaks direct, because Ketu is all about that, just being so direct, so cutting, and thinking about the consequences later. But as I said, with the Venus, she is able to be diplomatic most of the time. So that's just how she would be talking and speaking and dealing with arguments in her relationships. But now when it comes to her man Justin, right, he has his own Venus in Capricorn, and of course in his own chart that Venus falls right in the sixth house of what? Of service, because it is in Capricorn. Capricorn is about politics, and he is a politician, of course, and his politics are all about serving people, the sixth house of service. And that Venus here falls right in the house of social work, because we must remember that the sixth house is about the social services. And so we have seen him obviously over the years servicing the society of Canada, and of course under a big authoritarian portfolio, because this is Capricorn. It's not just any sign. Capricorn is the authority. So, and of course it is with Rahu as well. Rahu dealing with foreign alliances or foreign people or foreign colleagues, because the sixth house is also about the people that we work with. So we can see that when it comes to his career, but that's not what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on profiling individuals, just the relationship part. So when it comes to his way of loving and showing affection with the Venus in the sixth house, it can be a bit complicated at times when it comes to receiving love and showing that love to other people, of course. Now, why is that? It's coming from the original placement of Venus in the sixth house, whereby naturally here it becomes debilitated, and so it is not able to profit, like to enjoy the pleasures of relationships. And when we're talking about the debilitation of Venus, I must remind you that it does not say that you're not going to get love or receive love. It actually just says that you're not going to feel the enjoyment of it. For you, it will be all about serving, doing the duty that you feel you need to do towards your partner, and vice versa. So and like when it's in Pisces exalted, this year is all about, gosh, I just want to enjoy everything. Well, right, so here it's all about, if I get married to you, it's because I have to. I feel like this is good for, just for you, for your health, for my health, to organize our daily lives, because we must remember that the sixth house is also about the daily routines and the things that we do in our daily lives. So here with Venus, is all about, I do what I have to do in a relationship. If I have to buy flowers to keep this relationship going, that's what I'm gonna do. That's the duty that I'm going to do. If I have to cook for you every single day to make sure you're healthy, that's what I'm going to do. I'm nursing you, because this is also actually out of health as well. And so this Venus is focusing on that. But with that Rahu here, we can say that, at times there could be, or there could have been some allegations of Mr. Justin Trudeau going outside of his marriage or relationships, or having unusual relationships, or having taboo relationships, whereby some people are just raising their eyes, like relationships that are not of the normal, out of the norm, so those are the types of these relationships that would be here because of that Rahu. Now, and of course, he's highly likely to meet his counterparties in terms of love, his lovers, when he's at work or when he's doing work, because of the Venus is in the sixth house of work, and at the same time it is also in the Capricorn. So most of the time he's meeting his lovers whilst he's on the job. Whilst he's on the job. So that is quite visible here. So now having his Venus in Capricorn and hers in Scorpio, that semi-sextile is powerful because this is a water and this is earth. Water and earth go well together because the water nourishes the earth so that the earth is not too dry, and the earth muddens up the water so that it is not too flowy without shape. It can be stable a bit. So this is where that stability and support comes in when we talk about semi-sextile. So we love the semi-sextile of their Venuses. So definitely yes here. Now they do have quite a lot of other things that I enjoy. Like, for example, I enjoy the semi-sextile of their suns. Now, when we talk about sun in terms of relationships, we are talking obviously about the direction of the relationship, but where are we going together? Show me the light, because the sun is light. So where are we going together? Where are we headed to in terms of our direction and this relationship? So with the semi-sextile, you can see here that the direction is going to be harmonic. If I say we're going to the north, you're going to say, alrighty then, let's go to the north. If I say we're going to the south, alrighty then, I'm supporting you. What do you need? What should I pack? So there's a lot of support, but semi-sextile is quite light, meaning that at times I can say, okay, we're going to the north, and then we go, and if I get tired, I can easily just say, dude, I'm tired, I want to go back. And then you'll be like, okay, fine, let's go back, I didn't want to go anywhere. So it's very different when compared to a conjunction. So now looking closely to their suns, we do see here that he has his sun, of course, in what? In Sagittarius. Now in his chart, it falls in that fifth house. What is fifth house about? It is about love, dating, relationships, in terms of light relationships. It's about making babies. Actually, the children. It is actually the product of their 8th house and the product of the 12th house, because these are the houses whereby the action is actually happening of making babies, and those babies, we then see them in the 5th house. Right now, when it comes to the 8th house, we must remember again that, and the 8th house is about, all the types of encounters that are deemed modern or taboo or out of the world, right? And then when it comes to the 12th house, this is like your normal sexual encounter here, whereby things are cool, things are just ordinary, routine based, because it's facing that 6th house. I'm saying I a lot because there are a whole lot of things, like a whole lot of options, because when we're talking about the 12th house, it is the bedroom, right? At the same time, the bedroom is facing the daily life of what you're doing, throughout the day, and therefore this is like your missionary stuff, right? And your 8th house is like your quickie, sexual encounter, whereby you have your one night stand, you have your experimental sexual encounters whereby you have third parties coming to join this sexual activity. This is why it is then making a square to the 5th house of kids, because many kids that do come out of these one night stands, or maybe cheating, or they usually they usually fall under the shame, feeling shameful about being pregnant out of this situation, because the 8th house is also about abuse. So maybe if somebody defiles your body and you get violated and you get pregnant, there's that shame and stigma, which is all about the 8th house. And this is why it's squaring the 5th house, because you can see now that the product, the outcome of this sexual encounter is coming from a difficult situation, like a challenge, right? But when it comes to the 12th house, it is making an in conjunction here. Now you're going to say an in conjunction is not harmonic, right? Because when we're talking about harmonic products, we're going to talk about the 9th house, and of course your ascendant. This is like the simplest understanding of what is happening when you are having an encounter. But we must remember that when you have a kid, you change, you go through transformations. Things are never the same. You were a single young person going in and out as you wanted, but when you have a child, things change. And almost for a whole lot of people, these brings a whole lot of transformation. And this is where that in conjunction to the 12th house comes in when it comes to the 5th house, because once there's that child, everything must change. So when I talk about an in conjunction in terms of your journey, it does bring a necessary transformation, but transformation that is not always smooth, because most transformations are not they don't feel easy for people, right? So even if there's support and all of these things, but having your body go through all of that, and then you have to exercise and lose the weight, and and you just go through a whole lot of stuff. It's a matter of death and rebirth, whereby your single life without a child dies, and then of course you get resurrected into parenthood. And so I like his sun with the conjunction of her Jupiter, Mars, and of course Neptune. Okay, not so much for Neptune, but the Jupiter and Mars, I enjoy that, because Sun in Sagittarius is very happy, very explorative, very focused on beliefs that are genuine, beliefs that are all about going higher, just going higher in whatever you choose, going higher and bolder as well. So I enjoy that Sun with that Jupiter and Mars there. But of course with the Neptune, this is where things become a bit not so cool. But the power of Jupiter and Mars here, and with his Sun, they overcome that Neptune. So this is how a lot of times you need to look at all the aspects before you can make a decision, because with that Neptune becomes overpowered. Yeah, it will have, of course, its parts and bits, but its impact, it becomes minimal. So when it comes to their communication, actually, oh my gosh, okay, there are things that I really don't enjoy, of course, particularly when it comes to the fact that her Saturn is in conjunct with his moon. It means that, and vice versa, and his moon to, and his Saturn to her moon. So here, when it comes to the area of children, I'm not sure if Katy Perry has got kids. Actually, I've never checked, but I do know that Justin has got kids. So here, there wouldn't be so much time shared together with the kids. I do see that. And even if they were to try, there would be some hiccups here and there. So there's that part that I don't enjoy. So basically the part of children, or including children, or involving children, it just becomes very difficult for this relationship. However, for a social, life relationship, being intimate together, building resources together, it's okay. But of course, more work would have to be placed. Maybe one kid does not accept her as a stepmommy, or if she's got a daughter, actually, I remember. And then maybe if her daughter does not accept him as the stepdaddy, something like that. And of course, even with them trying to have a baby together, that would be quite difficult as well. And that is what's showing here. So that part I really don't enjoy much. However, their personal relationships between themselves, I enjoy. Oh man, we're out of time. Look at that. I really wanted to focus a bit on the academic part, to the point that we are out of time now. So with that said, I must say thank you. I'll chat to you soon. This is Mita. You can subscribe and check out my website for bookings. Bientôt and ciao.